Hello everyone, welcome to Property Wealth MS. Today we are going to discuss the Agreement of Purchase and Sale. Usually we call it APS Form 100 for the residential sale and purchase. Form 100 is a standard Ontario residential real estate contract used by the real estate industry in Ontario, Canada. It set out all the terms like price, deposit, condition, timing, right and obligations for buying and selling a property like home, duplex, any kind of residential homes under this category. When signing by buyer and seller, it become a legal binding contract or subject to conditions. Before to talk in detail, quickly hit the subscribe button on your notification so that you will be ready to join Property Wealth MS community. Let's go ahead in detail. In Ontario, most commonly use Form 100 for residential real estate transactions which have been updated under TRESA now. What is the Agreement of Purchase and Sale? It is a binding contract which specifies the property being sold, state the purchase price, set the key date, closing date, condition deadlines, define responsibilities of the both parties. It is a layout what is included and excluded in the Agreement of Purchase and Sale, like include conditions similar like finance or inspection, describe how deposit and payments are handled out, and what happens if either party in a default. Let's move on the key components of APS in Ontario. Here we are going to break down the each part in detail. Number one is the date of the agreement. The date of the buyer makes the offer important for the timelines like the condition, deadlines and irrevocability period. Number two is the buyer and seller information. Full legal names and the address must be accurate to avoid legal issues. Third is description of the property must be accurate to avoid legal issues. Fourth is the purchase price, the total amount the buyer agrees to pay. Fifth is deposit, amount of money the buyer puts forward to show good faith, usually held in a trust account, credit towards the purchase price on closing date. Chattels and fixtures are clearly mentioned in the Agreement of Purchase and Sale so that no confusion in between buyer and seller. It should be properly mentioned in the agreement which items are included and which are excluded from the agreement. Let's move on. The next point is the closing date, or we call it the completion date. The date when the ownership is legally transferred, buyer pays the remaining balance, seller gives the vacant possession unless agreed otherwise. The next point is number 8 is the conditions, usually included in the schedule and can include financing. Buyer must get approved for a mortgage. And home inspection conditions, buyer must be satisfied within a professional time frame window before closing date. Let's move on. The number 8 point is the conditions usually included in a Schedule A and can be include the financing, home inspection, sale of buyer's property, insurance or legal review. If these conditions are not met, so buyer can terminate the agreement. Irrevocability, the offer must remain open until a set time date. After that, it expires unless accepted. Number 10 is the title and title search. A seller must provide good faith in a title and there is no lien or encumbrance unless disclosed. Buyer can do a title search before closing to confirm. Adjustments like the property taxes, utility, condo fee are adjusted on the closing date. Each party pay their fair share up to the closing date. Representation and warranties. A seller may make promise no outstanding work orders or no urea formaldehyde insulations in the home. Some warranties may survive closing, still enforceable after the sale. Next is the risk and insurance. The seller is responsible for the property until closing. If damage occurs before closing, buyer may cancel or demand repair for that or asking about the negotiation on that. Let's take a look for the default clauses. If the buyer and seller fail to close, the other may sue or claim the deposit. The seller might keep the deposit if buyer walk away depending on the circumstances. So the most important part is the signature and acceptance. Deal become binding only when the offer is signed and delivered to the other party within the irrevocability period. All the parties sign and initial each pages. Let's take a look for the different forms that we are using with the APS. Schedule A, usually used for the conditions. Schedule B, brokerage related terms. Form 801, record of after submission. Form 105 and 120, amendments and waiver. Consumer information guide must be provided as per TRESA. Let's discuss about the legal status. APS is a legally binding contract once signed and accepted. A verbal agreement is not applicable in real estate in Ontario. Must be in a writing. Failure to close without legal reason can result in lawsuit and loss of deposit or specific performance. Now let's take a look on the TRESA new update obligations. First, clarity in agency relationship must be clearly mentioned in the agreement, either client or versus self-represented party. Mandatory consumer information guide before signing, written disclosure of material facts, transparency in offer process, seller can choose to share offer details, no commission agreement with self-represented parties without consent. That's all for today's video. If you need any help, write down in a comment section. Thank you for today.